Oh, now my microphone is working, apparently. I heard a sound like something disconnected. And then I was looking over like, wait a second, what disconnected? And as I was speaking, my microphone wasn't working. So maybe it was something to do with that? I don't know. I also, literally just before starting the stream, set up a button that should bring me right over to this layout. Heck yeah! And then input, oh, hold on. Inputs, yeah! As long as they work in game 2. Heck yeah! Okay, I was having a little bit of trouble with inputs right before the stream started. So, I have a double camera setup going again. I couldn't exactly continue the little Pokeball printing project during the last stream, considering I didn't really have a secondary camera anymore because the secondary camera became the primary camera. So I dug out my old secondary camera because this used to be my old primary camera. And I set up the old secondary camera again. And it still seems to work just fine as a camera. The big issue with it is it's delayed by about a full 2 seconds. So I'd never be able to use it, like, looking at me and talking. You would see me, like, a couple full seconds delayed, and then it would be, like, the most jarring and weird thing ever. Something going on in the background there, it's not that big a deal, probably. I mean, if something finishes, then I'll be like, oh, look, it's done. And on the camera, you'll still see for a couple seconds that's still working on it, and it takes a moment before it actually finishes. But, you know, it's not the worst thing ever here, I guess. I have a lot of hours in this file now, don't I? So, yeah, I shipped out my camera that I was just using in the playthrough up to this point, my fancy schmancy one. That needs to reach the manufacturers. They can see that they received the old one, and then they'll send me a new one, apparently, here. Any droopies for me to pick up? Sure, looks like there is. Wow, let me grab that. Wow. Grab a little drooping bits of plastic here. Yeah, so I don't have a camera that follows me. I just have my little C922 here. I mean, this is what I streamed with for, like, about 6 years here. And I mean, I guess I would have done, like, the full Blazing Blade playthrough using this camera. It's not quite as nice not having, like, 60 FPS. Now it's 30 FPS and stuff. Obligatory hockey update for someone in this area. First period just ended and Oilers are up 3-1. You know, I've never really followed all that much sports stuff. I've never really been all that interested. My parents... He was here, and we ended up going to a Oilers game. I felt very, very claustrophobic in there, to say the least, in Rogers Place, and I was not the biggest fan of that, and I just, yeah, I've never really watched all that much in the way of sports, so that was me. But hey, at least the Oilers are up, a team that I don't really have any attachment to, but yeah, I am feeling tired. Sorry, the pun was too easy. Yeah, so as it says in the stream title, and as I'm sure I'll talk about, like, during the coming chapter here, one of my car tires exploded today, like, and that was a bit of a pain there. I have a support that I can do here after I grinded out, like, supports between sessions, among other things here. I can get this support conversation, that's it. Lilina, thank you. No, Gonzalez, it's not for greetings. This I give you. You pretty. Flower pretty. Look good together. Thank you very much, Gonzalez. Thank you. This really is a beautiful flower. They grow by Roy's home, too. Roy? Who, Roy? Just the guy whose orders you're following? Roy's the leader of this army. He's not very strong, but he's very kind. Yeah, he's not very strong. At least if I hadn't got him to level 20. He's gonna be getting weaker and weaker comparatively here. Lilina like Roy? Yes, I like him very much. But you're never gonna have a conversation with him unless it's, like, story content, so sucks to suck. I leave. What? Wait, Gonzalez. Yeah, I was starting to feel subpar. You decide to stream. Thank you and good night. How, what? Wait. What? Used to be the same, but living in this area got attached to them. Well, army leaders don't need to be strong if they're smart. That's true. Assuming they're not, like, they're fighting themselves and stuff. Different times. It's a fancy setting, but you know what I mean here. But yeah, I've never been too interested, but that's me. I just have the boss left here. So where we left off, I did this Comfort stream for a bad day. Okay, I was a little bit confused at, like, the last bit. Like, at first I was like, wait, is this a meme about thank you and good night? Or is it... Oh, I forgot to visit 2 villages! No! Oh my god. It's a good thing I went and checked that really quickly. So I was like, wait, is that a meme or are you heading out here? And that's the part that I was confused about. But now the bad day is gonna get even worse because, like, the joke that was attempted to be made just went right over my head. Just going to bed, so okay, no worries there. Yeah, I've had a pretty crummy day too, honestly, considering, you know, tire exploding. You know what, sure, let's just tell the story now, and this will become its own short part, I guess. So, let's have a little look-see here, if I go to this channel. So, I went on a decent bit of a drive earlier today, because I wanted to go to the seed sale event that I found out was going on. Because in a couple weeks' time, in 2 weeks and 1 day is when I'm going to this one seed sale where I'm selling like a whole bunch of 3D printed pots and stuff at. And I kind of like attending other seed sale events, and I saw that at this one there was a lot of vendors going who would also be at like the one that I'm going to, this dusty old lance. I'll give it to you to use against the villains here. My foolish brother wielded this before he died. Yeah, I think I got this in one of the erased timelines. He was a terrible fighter, but he believed his cause was just. That's what got him killed. He was so very foolish. It's a good thing I didn't miss these villages. I was so prepared to just, like, end this map. So I want to go to the seed sale event, but it's a little bit farther away. It was about a little bit over a half-hour drive if I was taking the highway. So, you know, not so insanely out of the way, but a little smidge out of the way. And I start driving there. The road felt a little bit bumpier than I was expecting when I was initially setting out. It felt completely fine on the highway, and then I didn't notice anything, like, when I got off the highway and I was driving over there. Good luck to you. We can't even touch these guys. Some people in your army can use bows, can't they? This should be helpful. I know it's not much, but I want you to have it. And, oh yeah, that. And when I started pulling up close to the place, like, right before I was about to turn off the road and into the parking lot, the road suddenly felt, like, really bumpy. Like, I didn't hear any noise or anything, it just started feeling really bumpy. And so I was, like, starting to drive really slow to be careful. Like, I'm used to weird things cropping up, like, when I drive my Fargo, so I started driving really slowly and carefully, and I was looking at the road like, is something going on with the road? It didn't look like anything was up, so I was like, alright, I'll pull into the parking lot, and I'll have a bit of a look-see. One of the pedestrians that saw me pulling in, like, followed me to where I parked to let me know that I had a flat tire. And I came out of the car. I immediately looked on the driver's side. Yeah, I am very much feeling tired today. I had a look-see. I've never had a tiring day, was it? My god. I had a look-see. And that was the driver's front there. Yeah, it just looked like this. So, you know, hello, Astro staff. Yeah, good old Binding Blade stuff. Yeah, this is what happened to me earlier today. So, like, it is possible that maybe I was just, like, a bit of an idiot and wasn't as on top of the tire pressure as I needed to be and not notice that maybe that one was lower and then somehow that contributed to that happening or something. I don't know. Like I said, it felt a little bit bumpier than expected considering the road I was on when I first set out. The highway felt fine, and then the road after the highway felt fine, until it exploded. I didn't hear an explosion sound, it was just all of a sudden like, oh, the road's feeling really bumpy. And, yeah, it was like that. So, yeah, I couldn't exactly use that to drive home. And I was, you know, well over half an hour away from home, and it's like, oh, crap. And I've never put on, like, a spare tire before. Like, I am used to changing tires. I always change, like, my own tires between, like, summer and winter tires. And I wasn't entirely sure, like, how to get to my spare tire at first. Like, I opened up the hatch in the back of my car and, like, looked under the rug and stuff there. And there's, like, some tools, like a lug wrench, a jack stand, but I didn't see a spare tire. And I called my dad asking if he knew where the spare tire was, and he wasn't entirely sure. And on FaceTiming with him, he was like, oh, you gotta unscrew that thing, and then you can open it up, like, another level. And I dug out my spare tire. And I was like, okay, great. I can just use the lug wrench now and put on the spare tire. But the thing is, my lugs here, you might notice that this little silvery one isn't exactly the same as all these brown ones there. I forget if the reason is because, like, I think that the reason was because once I didn't really have the time to change the tires myself, I took it into Canadian Tire, and then later when I went to do it myself and I tried unscrewing it, they had it tightened on there, like, so insanely tight that it, like, snapped off the entire bolt, and then I needed to get, like, a replacement lug, so one of them is different. I'm pretty sure that's what happened, but I think that they also gave us, like, a different bolt when that happened, and they had to, like, you know, repair the rim and stuff there so that I could actually put something onto it again, because again, like, the whole bolt snapped off. And I think they gave us a different one as like an anti-theft measure, so if someone sees like, oh, look, one of these are slightly different than the others, I can't use like a standard lug wrench on that one, well, I'll just go like steal the tires off of someone else then if I can't get that one. So all these other lugs are all the same thing on like all the other tires. Like, I have 5 of them on every other tire. It's only the driver's front that has that kind. Well, would you know, the anti-theft measure works, because I could not get the tire off with the lug wrench that I had. Thanks to this little thing here that was a different size than the others. So I couldn't even take the tire off to put my spare on. So, you know, that was fun there. And my dad, who just recently got back from a trip from Montreal, probably got a decent bit of a cold while he was there, because now he just, like, sounds terrible. He's coughing up a lung. He's really not doing all that well, and he was, like, the only one available. I could have called, like, AMA, but I figured, like, hey, if I already have, like, a spare tire and a jack and stuff like that, like, maybe that would be the approach to go, and he decided that he was gonna come out there and have, like, a 4-way wrench that I had, or a 4-way lug wrench, whatever the heck they're called. I just call them 4-ways. So I could actually get that off. So he came by, we got the tire off, we had the car jacked up, and we pulled out the spare tire, and turns out the spare tire, because it's literally never been used before, it hadn't exactly been filled up with air in a long time, so the spare tire was pretty flat as well. Like, at least not burst flat, just out of air flat. So I couldn't even use the spare tire initially. So he ended up going on a little bit of a run to initially Fountain Tire, who apparently refused him service to like fill up the tire because they were saying that it was like after their hours or something or other there. So then he went to Esso, I believe is where it was, and was able to fill up the spare tire and brought over, and he headed home. I got the spare tire on, significantly smaller than like the other tires on here. So these are my winter tires. Here was the spare tire. That's the first time I've ever had it put on there. Like, you can see how much open space there is here. And I was like, yeah, I am not taking the highway back on this thing. There's no shot. So I just drove really slowly through the city, like taking the longer route. So it was a little bit over a 40-minute drive to get back home on this spare tire. My car is currently parked in the garage on this tire. And I'm thinking that maybe tomorrow, like, I'm done with my car today. I'm thinking maybe tomorrow I might just like put on the summer tires. A lot of stuff is starting to melt. There will probably still be like some snowfall, but just so that, hey, there's some circumstances in which I can drive my car. Maybe drive it to the place where I got the tires, if I can remember where it was. It might have been Canadian Tire. And see if I can get a replacement winter tire. And if I have the summer tires on my vehicle, then it's like, hey, I'm good into the summer, and if it snows again, then I'll just like borrow one of my parents' vehicles or something like that, I figure. So yeah, I might be borrowing vehicles for a little bit into the future, unless it's like clear weather with a whole bunch of melted snow. Just make sure I got all the villages now, it sure looks like. Just because I want to be able to drive my car. But now I have 3 winter tires instead of 4. And that's a little bit of a problem there. Joke's on you, neither of my cars have spare tires, so if I get a flat, I'm screwed. Then you definitely gotta get towed home. But hey, at least I got, like, the first experience of my life, you know, replacing a tire in a parking lot, like, in the middle of nowhere there. So, you know, life experiences and all that. Can I whittle you with anyone here? Hey, let me just go ahead and, like, really quickly do that, just to make sure. Whenever anyone mentions Canadian Tire, I just think of those Canadian Tire dollars that they give when you spent money there. They used to. Nowadays, they just have, like, I think it's points cards or something like that. Like, you have a Canadian Tire account. But they used to have, like, the really colorful little bits of paper money. That would be things like 5 cents, 10 cents, 25 cents, and stuff like that. But yeah, very tiring experience. So, you know. That's so much more boring. Yeah, it is. But then at least you don't have to, like, carry around a whole bunch of Canadian Tire money. But, yeah, it was kind of fun having a little bits of Canadian Tire money, admittedly. This guy's kind of tough. my god, that hit rate is abysmal. But yeah, so I went into this event, I was chatting with some of the vendors there, and some of the ones I'd see again in a couple weeks at, like, this coming event. I brought, like, a few 3D prints with me, like, I brought a dragon, I brought a bunch of different pots and stuff like that. I was discussing, like, 3D printing and gardening with some people, and I got some good advice from people there in terms of, like, how best to, like, handle my stand, like, have a pitch, like, why people should choose me over, like, other 3D printing sellers, and maybe start printing more PLA plastic pots, like the plant-based plastic, because even though it might not last as long, they were saying that more gardeners want to start doing, like, more environmentally friendly options, greener kind of things, and less oil-based plastic kind of stuff. So the one PLA plot, actually I have a couple PLA pots that I've used over the past couple of years, have held up just fine, even though I've heard, like, that they wouldn't under wear and tear. I mean, maybe I'm not putting them through enough wear and tear just by having, like, soil and water and plants in them, so maybe it's fine, I don't know. They have a lower melting temperature, so my cousin has also advised me that, like, hey, you have them in direct sunlight, they can lose their color, or, you know, maybe start melting very slightly. I've never noticed that with any of my pots, so maybe it's fine, so maybe I'll start printing some PLA pots, potentially, and give people the options of, like, hey, I have these pots in Pet G, these pots in PLA, and see what people want to get, or something or other, maybe. I've been just printing a whole bunch of Pet G stuff lately. I recently got a rainbow Pet G filament, so I've been printing, like, color-changing pots and stuff like that. So, I've been experimenting with some stuff here. Usually, rainbow is only in, like, PLA. I only recently found a roll of rainbow Pet G, the oil-based plastic. So, I'm putting it to a little bit of use. Let's be honest, Harmonia's car just wants to retire. I'm actually thinking about buying a new car in the near future, because I would like to get something a little bit more long-term, something that'll last me, like, way into the future. My car has, like, 450,000 kilometers on it, something like that. It's been in my family for, like, 10 to 15 years, something or other. It still works great for the most part. Like, it's 2005 Pontiac Vibe. Like, it's one of the most fuel-efficient cars you'll ever see. It's great for going from point A to point B. If I get a new car, like, I'm keeping my Vibe still, and then, like, you can use it for, like, some long runs, or most likely it'll end up going to, like, one of my cousin's kids when they're old enough to get, like, their own vehicle. They can just, like, get that off of me or something. Like, that Vibe has been, like, so great for this family, and I intend to, like, continue using it for the family in ways like that, so they might end up potentially getting that vehicle one day. But I want to get a new car because, like, one, something long-term that's, like, all-wheel drive, a little bit better in the winter. Probably has features like heated seats, heated steering wheel. Maybe I could connect my phone to it. Like, I can't do that with my Vibe. And it's also better to do it, like, sooner rather than later. What with this whole, like, back and forth, like, there's gonna be tariffs, there's not gonna be tariffs, there's gonna be tariffs, there's not gonna be tariffs. That is just gonna be, like, absolutely destroying the new vehicle market, which means that it's gonna be very much inflating the value of, like, the used vehicle market as well. Which means, if I wait too long, then used vehicles that I be browsing here are gonna start getting a lot more expensive. So now might be the time for me to get a new car. But I'm not getting, like I said, I'm not getting rid of my Vibe. I love my Vibe. And then if the kids can use it one day, then hey, great. So there's that. Look at the plagiarism with the tires here and stuff. Set your sources next time. That's not plagiarism. Heck yeah. I don't know. Let's just attack here. I forgot I turned off combat animations. Opposing me is the equivalent of opposing the gods. I shall rain divine punishment upon you. Do I want any advice for cars? If you have any recommendations for, like, ones that are kind of small but have a lot of space, like, that's one of the things that I really like about my Pontiac Vibe. Like, let's see here. If I just open, like, a new tab here, I look up 2005 Pontiac Vibe. Let's see here. And apparently these are... Get a Cybertruck. It's small but has a lot of space. Now, there's an idea. I better get one of those and support the free speech bastion Elon. Yeah, I love my car. My car's great. So, where's the gray color of mine? I guess I have one like this, then. That kind of color scheme. Like, it's a pretty... there's a bot to ban. That luckily Twitch restricted, so you didn't get to see, like, what it said there. The Elon Mobile, that's right. So I have one of these, and it's like a great small compact car, but it has, you know, 4 main seats, like 3 in the back there with someone being able to take the middle seat. You know, fold down cup holders and stuff like that. It's a hatchback, so you can store a shit ton of stuff in there. Back. And something really cool about this car that a lot of cars don't have is the back seats fold all the way flat. Like a lot of cars, like my mom's car, for example, they don't go flat, they're like up just a little bit. but the back seats in mine go completely flat. Like, it is so good for, like, LAN events that I'm hauling so much equipment to. Like, I have very much put my vibe through a lot of use. And it's, like, great to sleep in as well if I'm at, like, a LAN event, considering these fold flat. Like, I feel like I would have a bit of a strange sleeping experience if I was in the back of a car where it was tilted up a little bit. Like, I love how this folds flat. And back there is where I grabbed the spare tire out of earlier today. So I really quite like that, but it's really hard to find, like, cars that are on the smaller side, but also have, like, a shit ton of space and, like, nice things like that. So I really, really like my vibe. I'm driving a Cybertruck with an I love Elon Musk bumper sticker is the recipe to being liked in Canada. Oh, I have no doubt. I have a 2019 Honda Civic Si. It seems pretty good, but the Civic isn't available in all-wheel drive. Definitely want something in all-wheel drive. And hello, Cobra Wizard. It's really good if you want to drive it like a race car. Despite being a sport injection version of the car, it is not fun to do some hooligan activities in. His vibe is a car. I thought he was talking about a vibrator. What? No. My god. Imagine driving one of those around. But yeah, I love my vibe. I've been looking at Konas a little bit. Kona car, I guess? No, not that. Not electric ones. What would it be? I guess stuff like this. Where it's like, not like a super huge car. Hatchback has lots of space. I've been looking at some Konas. And some sort of Subaru thingamabob. I've been looking at a couple of those that I can't tell you the models of cars. I know the model of like my car and my truck. I can't tell you much more than that. So I've been looking at some Konas and some Subarus here. And yeah, maybe I'll start like following up with some sellers and be like, hey, can we have a look at that car? And I can have a look-see and kind of decide if this is something that I would potentially like to use because, yeah, I feel like the vehicle market is going to get a little bit more cursed coming up here pretty soon. And it's already cursed enough as is. Like, ever since, like, COVID, the post-COVID vehicle market is just absolutely insane. Oh my god. Now that's a way to start a stream. Like, that's not gonna... Whoops, that's not what I want to. That's a lot of turns, though. That's not quite, like... you can see my funds that I grinded up to. I was gonna have that be a surprise. Not quite enough of a pick-me-up to turn this into a good day yet. But that is, like, a nice little pick-me-up, like, thank you, game. Like, that is actually very quite nice, thank you very much. I'm sorry, Harmonia, my recommendation, avoid Nissan, Hyundai, and Kia. I know that there's, like, the whole Kia challenge of people breaking into Kia cars because they're, like, a bit of a security risk. I know about that, at least. What are the issues with the other ones? Let's see here. Let's go ahead and heal so that you're in a better position. Well, Japanese cars may be the cheapest options for Canadians in the near future. Think so? I don't really know a whole lot about the car market. I like Volkswagens, or however it's spelled in the heretical German language. Yeah, I like that. Well, I guess just with an S after the K, if memory serves. Volkswagen. Das Auto. At the scene event I went to, I actually had, like, a conversation with someone in German earlier today. For, like, the first time in a while. And both of us were, like, very surprised at, like, finding someone else there that spoke German. And, we're gladly engaging in a conversation there. One of the organizers of the event, actually. Interestingly enough. So that was kind of fun. It was funny when I was in the event there, and, like, would go up to the different booths, and they would just start with, like, the typical, like, let's start a conversation kind of speak. Of, like, hey, how's it going? Like, expecting people to just say something like, good, or, like, things are going pretty alright. Instead, always being met with a, not so great, my tire exploded on the way in here. I got quite a few expressions from different people at the seed sale here. This one lady that was selling a bunch of tomato seeds just gave me, like, a pack of tomato seeds that was, like, she was like, here, you know, a little bit of a pick-me-up afterwards, I guess, like, you know, you're having it kind of rough here, take some tomato seeds for free. And I was like, oh, thank you. And, so that was kind of fun there. Kia and Hyundai engines have a tendency to fail around 90,000 to 110,000 miles in dramatic fashion. You can tell they're about to explode because in the couple thousand miles leading up to it, they drink excessive amounts of oils. Oh, I'm definitely going to have to do some research here. Don't speak American. What is that in kilometers? I have a rough idea just because my truck is in miles since, like, it was before Canada shifted away from freedom units and all that. But yeah, grow a new tire seeds. That one's what I better do. Treat it like some sort of Minecraft mod where you can just grow whatever the heck. And by excessive, I mean every 1,000 miles you will be putting a liter of oil into your engine, kind of excessive. Oh, jeez. Yeah, we should have definitely thought of that one there. You heathens. I represent the gods. So, yeah, there was that. Have all your plants just grow some rubber. Yeah, that's a great idea there. Not too bad. Not a bad level up by any means. Not as good as the +5 that I just got. My mom had a Subaru before her Volkswagen, and the coolant exploded while on the way to get your wisdom teeth surgery. Jeez. That's pretty brutal there. Also, at this event, I ended up getting a lot of seeds for free just because there was like a few vendors that were just like, oh yeah, here's some seeds. If there's something you can use, like take it and use it. And I was like, oh, okay, that's kind of cool. And the person that was selling all these tomato seeds, I only paid for like 2 seeds at the event. Actually, no, wait, 3 thingamabobs. I got some red carrot seeds because I've never tried growing red carrots before. I got some hazelnut seeds because I tried to grow like a tiny little hazelnut sapling before and it didn't work all that well. I tried growing something from seed, which is arguably even harder. And I got some pink pumpkin seeds because it's like unconventional and stuff. And I'm showing it like the camera can see it when it really can't. And it's like, I like growing weird, unconventional things. So I was like, hey, let's pick up those. I think these are the only seeds that I actually paid for. I got a whole bunch of seeds that were just given to me for free. This one vendor gave me some bean seeds. Another one gave me like some corn and some eggplant and stuff that I might try growing. Another one here gave me some peppers and asparagus. I've never tried growing that, and I could try. Like, I know it's perennial, so it might last a while. And I got a bunch of cool tomato seeds from that tomato seller. So I have a whole bunch of these tiny little baggies. But I got this in a trade. I brought a bunch of 3D printed goods so I could, like, chat with some of the vendors about, like, applications of 3D printing and gardening and stuff like that. And, you know, I got some interesting conversation with people, as, like, a decent few people were pretty intrigued about that. And one of the pots that I brought, as, like, an example of what I can make, was one of these. A little Bulbasaur pot. I brought one of these along, where it's, like, the bulb that makes up Bulbasaur is where you plant a plant. And then it's, like, it's growing and becoming, like, Bulbasaur's bulb and stuff like that. And, like, it's kind of a cool model, honestly. She was like, oh my god, I've always wanted a Bulbasaur pot. I was like, you want to trade for some seeds? And she was like, sure. And she asked, like, how much I would normally charge for those. And I was like, I don't know, I haven't decided yet. I need to, like, calculate my expenses and figure out what I want to charge for them. And so I asked if she wanted to trade for some seeds, and she said sure. And I was like, all right, well, how many packets of seeds should I be able to get for that? And she was like, how about 5? And I was like, that's a decent amount of, like, different varieties of seeds. So even though I'm growing, like, a shit ton of different varieties of tomato this year, I don't know if I'm starting anymore. I don't think I have any space for anymore. This might be a next year project. I now have even more, like, cool varieties of tomatoes that are, like, very unconventional, weird colors and stuff. That I'm really looking forward to growing one day. Like, I posted in the Discord server some of the ones that I got there that I thought looked really cool. Like, just online photos that I got. Like, let's see here. One of the ones that I picked up that I think is really cool is called a Dark Galaxy tomato, and it looks like that. And that looks really friggin' cool. Or, I never even heard of this before. Apparently it's called the Kryptonite tomato, which is a really funny name for the greenish-blackish tomato here, so I kind of want to start them, but at the same time, it's like, I don't have space. I mean, maybe I just start grafting more stuff to potatoes like I did last year, and then each plant has, like, multiple different varieties for stalks, because I can replace each potato stalk with, like, a different variety of tomato, and then it's like one plant makes 3 or 4 tomato types or something, and then I get more different things in the same space. So maybe I try that, but, like, I don't know, I'm already growing so many things. So, yeah, that's what's going on there. And Nissan uses cheap CVT transmissions who are incredibly prone to failure. I mean, most of them fail before the warranty period ends, kind of prone to failure. Oh, jeez. And yeah, steamed up the car and needed a police escort to reach the dental office. Was an experience. Jeez. So in my experience, when a Subaru decides to die, it dies dramatically. Jeez. I know my cousin drives a Subaru, a manual Subaru. I don't know what year. I think 2013. I think it was meant for, like, drag racing purposes, hence it being a manual. And that one seems to work pretty alright. I mean, I guess I wouldn't know exactly when I haven't driven it on the roads before, just in a parking lot, and the way he drives is a bit aggressive. But yeah, it's usually head gaskets. Interesting. Just spelling, like, the gasket there, so that kind of thing failing. Lord Roy, there's a young man claiming to be with the Resistance here. I'll see him. Let him pass. Oh, this is the guy that I didn't recruit. I guess he appears anyway, so I'm not missing out on story stuff anyway. I am pleased to meet you. My name is Elfin. I'm a member of the Resistance Force. I'm Roy of the Lycian Army. You have my thanks for saving our village here. We simply did what we believe is right. But now you stand against Etruria. Even so, I have no regrets. We may have opposed Etruria's immediate interests, but once the truth about the Isles is out, I'm certain they will understand. I mean, I have no regrets apart from maybe deciding that Wendy was going to be one of my main party members, or Gwendolyn. Like, I'm so used to, like, the Serenus Forest translation there. I sent a letter to a trustworthy Etrurian noble. If she takes appropriate measures, they will send us aid. I would not be so sure. Why is that? Because I can't see! Don't you find it odd that Etruria requested your help here at all? Actually, yes, I do. Yeah, so I guess that's the official one there, is, yeah, Gwendolyn. I think that's what it is in this translation here. If I may be so bold as to guess. Was it High Chancellor Rorts and Lord Arcardo who requested your help? It was. There may have been ulterior motives. I took the word proper out of that sentence for some reason. There may have been ulterior motives for sending your army away. Perhaps your presence in Lycia was undesirable to them. I never even considered that. There are rumors that Rorts and Arcardo are working with Byrne. What? Then Lycia is in danger! Lord Roy! Your country may be in peril. Are you free to waste your time on the Isles as you are? Yeah, I was a little bit confused about that as well. Like, hey, why are we going and, like, helping with random bandits over here when, like, the big bads are invading our country? He's right! Byrne wanted us out of Lycia so they could launch an invasion. We must head back at once. We stay here. What? Why? It's difficult to judge what may be hearsay and what may be truth. We can't simply jump on this rumor and run back to Lycia. I'm certainly concerned, but my father and General Cecilia are there. The people on the Isles have only us to rely on. That may be, but... If we leave without finishing our mission, then all we've done here was for naught. Your army is blessed with a level-headed leader. What? Lord Roy, I'm sorry for testing you so. Testing us? So that was a lie! It was the truth. However, I presented the rumor in a way that might take rash action. Your leader is a prudent individual. I would join you if you allow it, but I guess just as, like, a story party member and not, like, a gameplay party member, like if I had gone down the other route. Well, hey, I'm glad that we still, like, get you as part of the story. Like, I'm not missing out on that part that I thought I'd be missing out on if I went this route. So, hey, it all works out. I don't like that you tested us. But if you can help, I welcome you. Now, back to the concern we face here. So if I went the other route, he would have been my refresher. What can we do to help the people of the Isles? But his supports aren't as good for my planned party, so sucks to suck, you're on the bench. We must go to the capital, to Jutix. I don't know. I have not learned her backstory yet. The people will only be liberated if the corruption is overthrown. I think the chapter that I just now beat with this cutscene is 11? Then it's settled. We head for Jutix. I don't know. We fight for the people. They'll defeat the true enemy. Okay, friggin' Noah. Didn't realize this was Xenoblade 3. Are you General Roy? Yes, I am. I was so impressed by how you handled that unbelievably unfair chapter. Here, take some rewards. You saved our village. We owe you our livelihoods. Please, take this as a token of our gratitude. The hero crest, heck yeah. Let's go ahead and send that to Merlinus here. Do I have anyone at level 20 that can promote with that right now? Commander Klein, I will stay and help with the reconstruction as directed. Good. These people need you. Would that we could fight at your side. Here is the bolt we were holding for you. You may need it more than we do. Farewell and good luck, Commander Klein. So these are rewards for keeping the soldiers safe. Thank you. Good luck to you as well. Yeah, so lots of rewards if you actually, like, do the chapter well, which took some tries. Captain, we will return to Ilia to make our report. Very good. Thank you for your service. Oh, and take this. Your sister gave it to me before we left. Please be careful. Thank you. You too. Yeah, these promotion items that are for units that I don't even have that many of. I'm pretty sure I already have an Orion's Bolt and an Elysian Whip, and I'm only going to have, I think 2 flyers I'm planning to use, and then just, like, 1 archer unit is the case. Seriously, our backstory, every time you're reminded of it, just feels so sad, because just imagining it is horrifying. What they have to do, playtest Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. I would recommend looking at Mazda vehicles during your search. They're not usually the go-to name most people think of. My mom drives a Mazda, but they are relatively affordable, have all-wheel drive options even on their small hatchback, and yet I have yet to see any major complaints about their reliability online. See more stories about Toyota's failing than I have Mazda's. Interesting. I mean, my mom's Mazda works pretty well. Like, it's a little bit big for me. I think it's a CX-5 2016? I don't know. I don't know car stuff all that well. I think that's what it is. And I definitely prefer something smaller than that. But, you know, I know that I'm kind of the weirdo here enjoying small cars. Look into a Mazda 3. I think my mom might have mentioned something like that to me, where it's, like, kind of similar to her car, but, like, smaller. Or CX-30. I think I've looked at a couple of those listings before. I've been on and off, like, car searching for, like, the past 2 years here. It's just now it's when it's like, okay, I think it's time to get my butt into gear about this, considering the whole tariffs situation and, like, how the market is just going to be absolutely destroyed. So I think I need to pay a little bit more attention to being on top of that now. So I'm kind of rushing into a bit more. Because, I mean, for the most part, I'm still good at using my Vibe. It's just it gets a little bit slippy slidey in winter sometimes. Oh yeah, I was gonna like cycle what save slots I was saving in, I think, right? And that's why I was doing this. Or like I did that before the branch off or something. Here, I'll just, I don't know. I'll start cycling around. Another thing during that chapter that I wanted to mention I forgot. So I did a bunch of grinding with Rutger in the arena to just like fill me up on funds to like last me for the rest of this game. So I now have a little bit of pocket change, we'll say, with Rutger going ham in the arena there. I got a few level ups on Claire from her just healing him repeatedly, and from healing Gwendolyn repeatedly. Because I thought, like, hey, Gwendolyn, like, is really struggling here. Let's just have her in the arena, and, like, I can do it safely without, you know, safe state abusing. Because, like, Rutger can just make me a whole bunch of funds and stuff, and, you know, I can cancel a battle if it seems, like, really scary for Gwendolyn. Like, Rutger can absolutely go into the arena safely. The only time that I back out is when there's another Swordmaster I'm afraid of getting out RNG'd by getting critted, where I hit B and I back out because I don't want to play with RNG there. Gwendolyn, on the other hand, she would win if it was like an enemy soldier. A Myrmidon was a strong maybe. A mercenary was a strong maybe. Anyone else is just like, take the L. Like, she was absolutely not safe in the arena. So I only got, like, a couple wins with her in the arena, just a tiny little smidge of experience. And I was like, this is not happening. This cannot be done safely, and I'm not gonna, like, safe state abuse to see it through. So I got a shit ton of gold with Rutger because he could do it pretty safely. Gwendolyn was not remotely safe in the arena. She would have, like, maybe a 1 in 10 chance if I was going in there with her. It was ridiculous. So, yeah, my plan of get a few levels on Gwendolyn by using the arena didn't pan out between sessions. So yeah, that was the other thing that I wanted to mention that I forgot about. And hey, better late than never. I can advance a chapter now. Also, if it's not evident from that, as we continue like the Pokeball printing project here, I'm planning on printing the top part now. The red kind of part that makes up the top half is what's being printed over there. And I've never printed it like this before. I've always used like a red PET G plastic. I want to print this whole thing in PLA, and the only red PLA that I had, well, I have a couple weird red PLAs, but the only like normal-ish red PLA I had is a metallic red. And like maybe that would look even better because then maybe it has like a bit of shininess to it. So I've never printed one of these in the metallic red before, but maybe it'll look even cooler than like the Pokeballs I printed before. Like, we'll see. So a bit of something new I'm trying out there. Alright, I think that's all the things I want to say. We can do the next chapter now. Now, one last really quick thing that I could say. I'm feeling a little bit sick. I don't know if it's going to be a super long show. I might be sniffling here a little bit. My throat has been dry all day. I'm probably going to be drinking a lot of water. We'll see how I'm feeling here as this goes on.